Hello and welcome to the 7th round of the Scale Issue Fantasy Series 2000. We are here in Japan at the Suzuka Circuit, one of the greatest tracks of all time, period. It is fantastic, and if you don't think you've seen this track before, watch any motorsport compilation and you're probably going to see it. Now, coming out of the first batch of corners, we head towards the S's, where it is very important to modulate the throttle to help you rotate the car. Touching the brakes here is dangerous, as is catching traffic and making contact. That'll slow up your lap. But coming around the S's, like I say, it's important to keep off the brakes as much as possible because that will unbalance the car. And exiting the S's here, so important to be careful how you put the power down because you're going over a crest, the back tires will spin out and almost going off track here, keeping it within the white lines though, so it's all good to go. And coming up towards the hairpin. Now the hairpin is tricky because you got to kind of coast into it, start easy braking, and then put the pressure down as you approach the corner, because if you put the brakes down hard while you're turning, there's going to be lockups and your car is going to be ass backwards. Now, coming along the long right-hander here, heading towards the spoon curves, going to try and spot the brake boards somewhere close to the 50 mark, hit the brakes, downshift, and then you don't need to touch the brakes for a long time here. You can actually use the engine braking with the downshift to get you around that corner if need be, and power down nice and smooth out of the spoon curves down the straight here. One of the more famous straights in racing, thanks to Alonso and Schumacher. And as we come around the corner, there's a surprise in store I didn't realize until doing the practice for this session. I did the other layout with the further chicane. That just kept throwing me off through the session. But it's actually a pretty great overtaking opportunity if you can time the braking, which I could not. But we're coming around the final corner, headed down the straight towards the start finish line. Gonna put in a 1:43.3, and that is good enough for pole. So taking pole on one of my favorite tracks and one of the ones I've driven on the most outside of this game, to be fair. Bryce second place, Fierro third, Terreno best of the rest, and between qualifying and the race, I actually backed out and upped the difficulty from 100 to 110, hoping that'll make for some more exciting racing in just a second. So we're coming down the start of the race here and immediately losing multiple positions because of my inability to put the power down at the right time. Coasting into the first corner, going to lose another position, and staying wide, not really able to claim that back around the corner for a very long because I touched the curbs. But staying wide because, as we know, the AI in this game does not want you to see the end of the race. So we are immediately down in P4 in the first sector, just keeping it nice and smooth and trying to get around the S's without making contact and without bottoming the car out on the curbs. So it's a relief to see the top of the hill and get real squirrely under the power here. Another car cuts up on the inside, but we're headed towards Degner, so just going to downshift, box him out, a little bit rude if I'm honest, and going into the hard right before the hairpin, where there is a very good overtaking opportunity. Gonna pull towards the inside, but not close enough to make a move on that first pass, and cutting too much of the grass. Really unfortunate, but coming out of that hairpin, losing ground, heading down towards the spoon curves, falling well behind him now, half a second back of the next car. But we're gonna go into the spoon curves, hit the brakes, coast around, and the 3-car cluster slows each other up, so it's not the worst thing in the world getting onto the back of them, and we know there's going to be a long straight here, so smooth with the power. That is the focus presented to you when you start getting medicated for ADHD. Love to have chemical imbalances get corrected by medicine, and we're headed towards the right-handed. You see the car kicked up some dirt. That, I guess, would be a thing because we'll see on the last lap there's a lot of dirt on the track around there. I wasn't sure how the AI was going to hit the brakes into the chicane here, so I stayed well back. And coming around the last corner, finishing the first lap down in P4. Moving on now to the first sector of the third lap. As we get towards the end of the S's, you see I've still held on to the back of that 3-car cluster. Decent fighting actually in the interim between clips here. And as we head towards Degner, going to hit the brakes, pull in, and make up a lot of ground. Going into the sharp right here, almost making a move, but not quite, and heading up towards the hairpin. I've seen the AI likes to take the inside of that first corner, so very smooth braking, claiming the inside, no contact. That is the amount of foot control you can have once you get performance-enhancing chemicals in your brain, and running away with it into P3, but we're gonna stick with it, because as we head towards the spoon curves, honestly, I was just feeling really good in the moment, and I felt like there would be more moves to be made. So coming around the second half of the spoon curves, having made up a ton of distance on the cars, I'm gonna try and take advantage of the long straight and the slipstream. Gonna pull to the outside here, get past one car, head towards that right. These AI probably have kids at home, so they're gonna tap the brakes. No brakes for me, almost losing it, but just keeping the throttle off into the corner. Going into the final chicane, hitting the brakes hard, try to back up the pack legally. There's no rules against it in this game, I don't think. And finishing lap 3, having reclaimed first place on the grid. You love to see that. And that was literally it. That was the entire race. Took 3 laps to resolve. You can see there's dirt on the track here. There's so much more dirt as we come along the final corners toward the chicane at the end of the lap. So I'm just going to stop talking. I'm going to let this last lap play out because I was feeling real good, honestly. So enjoy Suzuka. I'll start talking again at the end of the race.
Left rear tyre looks a little hot. Wow, well done, the big ragu.
And that would be it. A clean, easy win to bounce back from the tragedy of Bathurst. Really does seem like taking the Ricky Bobby mentality of you're first or you're nothing is going to pay off here. But yeah, it's I would say disappointingly a bit of an easy win on a track that I'm familiar with, even with the 110 AI. But hey, I will take it. So that win would push me up to second in the standings behind Kenny Bryce, 2 points behind, so there's all to fight for in the home stretch of this championship. 8th round is up next at Daytona, a track that I've only raced in Gran Turismo 7. So I'm going to get some practice in there and hopefully going to have a good time. Time will tell on that though, so for now, thanks for watching, have a good day, and bye.